with Vlad Orellana, who is running. Josh Wood, lead developer for Tiny Towns.
How's it going, everyone?
Peter McPherson, designer of Tiny Towns. Todd Rowland, marketer of Tiny Towns. Mark Wooten, player of Tiny Towns. Ryan Dancy, COO of Alderac Entertainment Group. And
Hello.
our special guest today, game designer extraordinaire, Emma Larkins. How you doing, Emma?
Hi, great to be here.
Well, we are certainly glad to have you.
Not at all intimidated by this wall of very experienced players.
Well, as Ryan will point out to you at his first chance, I scored -1 in one of these sessions, so you shouldn't be too intimidated by.
All right, I feel better.
Yeah, I've scored below 10 a few times. I think 2 or 3 times.
I have a 6
Excellent.
and a 5.
Which one of you is going to go over the cards we are playing with today for the folks out there in Zoom land?
I can do that. So we've got the cottage as always. And then we have for our red building, the greenhouse. Our gray building is the shed. Our orange building is the temple. For yellow, we have the theater. And then we've got 2 unreleased cards, which should be up on your screen. Vlad, are those visible for everyone?
Give me 1 second and they will be visible on screen.
All right, so the green building is the brewery, which scores points based on the number of breweries in your town that are adjacent to at least 3 unique building types. That does count other breweries, so you can put 2 breweries next to each other and they will count each other. And they score 3 points for the first brewery, all the way up to 18 points if you have 4 breweries adjacent to 3 different building types. Then the post office, the black building, as soon as you build it, you can put any 2 resources on it. And now whenever one of those resources is called by the resource deck, you can instead place the other one. So if John flips a gray, you have the option to place a blue if you want. So take a moment there to familiarize yourself with the layouts for those. Take a screenshot if you want. And don't forget to deal yourself 2 monuments from the deck. Just remember to take out the Starloom and Opalized Watch, as those don't work in Town Hall mode.
Okay, you have the post office as a giant card on your right hand and the brewery as a giant card on your left hand.
And remember, if it's too much for you, you can always just use any other card that you have in the deck. We don't mind.
All right, and
So
I
I'm
would
going to
like
come to
to
your house and inspect your board and verify that you're playing with our prototype cards.
I would like to say hi to everyone on the chat. David, thank you for being here again. Jay, Thomas, Julian, Ty, Amy, Leslie, Pete. Oh, I know that Pete. Adam, Ernest, Alice, Allison, Thomas.
Good crew today.
Yeah. Alex and Damjan, thank you. And Justin, thank you for being here today with us.
Right on.
Please remember to share and like the stream. The more shares, the more people here, and we will get a chance to give better prices to everyone here.
I would actually take the time to give a special shout out to my mom who is joining us today. She joined. She texted me yesterday. I sent her a copy of Tiny Towns for Mother's Day, and then she decided to actually try and play yesterday, and so I'm very proud of her.
Right on.
Nice, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Awesome. I hope she beats you.
Yeah. It runs in the family.
No, we would. That would be priceless if you could beat your son. So at it. I think that would take over my scoring -1 as the worst thing to happen on this. On this daily game playthrough. All right, everybody. I am going to start by shuffling the deck, and we'll get started calling some cards. I am eating my lunch while we're playing, and I make no. It's just the way the schedule has worked out today. So.
And the chat is just saying hi to Josh's mom.
Oh,
that's nice.
You just giving her a copy now. I know. I didn't make her answer any weird trivia question. I just made her give birth to me and like have to raise me for 18 years.
My
I think that was good enough.
My aspirational board today is probably the most complicated aspirational board I've yet built. Like, this is a crazy setup.
Oh my word!
Wow, what?
Shoot, I should have done that. I did not do that.
Josh,
We'll see how.
can you actually show on the screen what's the aspirational board? I think that's a good technique that more people need to know about.
Yeah, so what I do, this is a tip I got from Pete and Josh. I take a second board before the game begins, and I imagine how I would like my board to look if it was at the end, and I put the resources on the board where I'm going to put them, and then depending on what corner they're in, that tells me what order I'm supposed to put those resources in. So if the resources got called exactly as I wanted, this is what my board would look like at the end. And then as that doesn't work out, then you have to make changes on the fly to try to fix your problems.
Yeah, that's
so
not
this
confusing
is my aspirational board, and what I did today. I don't usually make the aspirational board, and I don't usually do this. But another thing you can do is just have all the resources to your side. So when it's your choice, you just kind of know what you're going to kind of need at that any given time.
This is my aspirational board.
Good strategy, John. Good strategy.
John, I've seen you play Tiny Towns. I don't know if you're gonna make it. I don't know if you're gonna do it.
I'm gonna start off today with some stone. We're gonna start off with stone.
We're going to start with stone.
Hey, so we wanna talk about some of the stuff Emma's working on and or recently working on, and I think that but before we do that, we should give away a game to the first person who can put in the chat the name of Emma's game about vegetables that was recently published.
Right on.
Oh, and I need to place that stone on my board somewhere. What am I going to do with that? Other unique buildings. Theater likes unique buildings. I'm going to do that.
You know, I've actually never done the aspirational board thing. It exists only in my head. Yeah, I'm more of I roll with the punches.
It feels like cheating to me. I'm going to go with glass as the second call of the day. Glass is the second call of the day.
Yeah, I always have a good sense of what I'm trying to achieve, but I've never gone quite to Ryan's lengths of having, you know, all the buildings and all of the wood that he requires and wooden cubes that he requires to make them. That seems very detailed.
I just have no idea what I'm doing right now, but it's all going to work out.
It is a little early to say that, Emma. A little early to say that.
I would like to say to the chat that no, it is not point salad. You should double check.
Good, yeah. Good try.
All right,
good try.
next up is player's choice. When we say player's choice, that means you can put any colored cube on your field that you want to.
I prefer to just roll the cubes onto the board and whichever square they land closest to.
Oh, I like that. That's a good idea.
That is an extremely high level of Tiny Towns that Todd is playing.
So Julian has the correct answer with abandon all artichokes.
Woo! Very nice, Julian. Very nice. That game is amazing. The job they did with it is amazing. It is a beautiful, beautiful game. So congratulations.
And then Emmy said Veggie Garden, and I just realized that's 3 vegetable-based games designed by women.
There.
What does that tell us there, folks? All right. Next up is wheat. Wheat is next.
Oh,
okay.
The one resource I was kind of hoping wouldn't happen there.
Yeah, wheat is a really tough one today.
Wheat
wow.
is super tough.
We have a double winner. One from Facebook and one from YouTube. Both answers came at the same time.
Okay, well, that means neither of you win. Thank you for playing.
We're doing unfriendly ties today.
my friend Emily is asking how the brewery and post office work. So Emily, the brewery, Vlad, actually, it's possible for you to make them bigger on the screen again?
Yes, give me 1 second. I'm just posting the width that John just gave us, and then I will put them on the
Sure.
screen.
So the brewery would like to be adjacent to 3 different building types, and then you score points based on how many breweries in your town are adjacent to 3 different building types. So you get 3 points for the first. If you make 4 breweries adjacent to 3 different building types, you get 18 points. And breweries do count other breweries. That's a hard word to say a bunch of times in a row. The post office is a bit like factory. You're going to, as soon as you build it, choose 2 resources to put on it. And then whenever either resource is called by the deck, you have the option to place the other one. So if gray were called, I could place brick if I had this on my post office.
Okay.
Here's another secret tip that I have about the post office. My 2 favorite resources to put on it are brick and wheat, because a lot of times, you get in that late game cottage game where you're like, okay, I have 3 spaces left. I need to build a cottage. And then you have a glass, and then it's like dealer's choice. And you're like, well, it's a 50-50 between the brick and the wheat. It's the one that you get the most up in the game. And then so now you don't have to worry about that. And then if you build a second one, I like to do wood and stone.
Okay.
Pro tip there, everyone. And here's a brick to go with that pro tip.
Did you just call a brick, John?
I just called a brick.
All the brick.
Brick.
So Emma, where can people find abandoned all artichokes?
Yeah,
Specifically
absolutely.
me, because I've been trying to find it everywhere.
Oh.
Nice.
Very hard to track down.
Yeah, so there's a few places where you can get it. Places continue to sell out of it, which is fun and exciting. But also it's good and bad, right? Like selling copies is good, but I'd also definitely like to make it easy for people to get copies of it. There's a lot of local game stores right now that are doing local pickups, drop-offs, and even international shipping. One of the ones that I really like to support is Labyrinth Shop in DC. They're very active on Facebook and Twitter, and they ship across the US. So that's a great option if you want to do a local game store. Blue Highway Games here in Seattle has had some copies, but they were saying like, oh, you better call in. I don't know if they do ship across the US though. And it is also, for the moment, available on Amazon. So if you can't get it from a local game store, it's an option.
Next up is Player's Choice, everyone. Player's Choice is next up.
Yeah, I was having a conversation about that on Twitter yesterday, I think. I cannot get my copy in Guatemala.
Yes, yeah. I saw that, yeah.
Player's choice to build a post office.
Ooh, oh gosh.
Going for a post office, folks. Going for a post
Ooh.
Well, it's player's choice to build Grover University to build a post office, to be fair.
Okay.
Thank you for being more clear. All right, everybody.
Could you have said that with any less sincerity, John?
I don't think I could have said that with any less sincerity. Next up is wood, everyone.
Okay.
Next up is wood.
Sweet.
Mark, what's your background?
Sorry?
What's your background?
My background is West Lomond in Fife with Barlow Reservoir in the foreground. It's part of the Lomond Hills Regional Park, where I used to be the chief ranger.
Oh.
Have you noticed whenever he talks about Scotland, the brr shows up in his voice?
Next up is stone.
My background is Brighthaven, one of the towns in Tiny Towns. They'd ask me, Vlad.
Brighthaven, okay. I didn't ask you, but thank you for telling me. And I guess I will ask Todd then. Todd, what's your background?
Oh, this is my office.
Nice.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Actually, Mark should at least Mark should be able to recognize it if nobody else.
All right, next up, everybody, is Dealer's Choice. Dealer's Choice.
That's a post office.
So,
If you don't recognize it, Mark, I'm going to let the viewers at home try to figure it out.
So David's saying that it's a very, very beautiful place, but I don't think they're talking about Bright Place, your office, Todd, or Mark's background.
Well, So I will leave it to the chat. In fact, I'm going to give the chat another prize. We're going to give away a Santa Monica to the first one who can actually name where my background is from.
Wow.
Okay, everybody.
Stuff today. Nice.
Wood is the next item up for bid.
Would you say?
So Emma, what are you working on now that you're able to talk about?
Have a couple of projects, some kind of early stage stuff. The first game that I released, Heart Catchers, in like 2016, my first published game, I got the rights back to it. So I'm actually, was a 20 card game. I'm going to get down to 18 cards. And
Magic number.
Yeah. make a couple of changes to it. I'm excited to get that back out there. It's fascinating coming back to a game after 4 years and like, oh my gosh, I could change this and make it so much better. It's nice to have that opportunity.
That is very cool. I mean, 4 years is an eternity if you're designing games nearly full time, right?
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Next up is Glass. Glass is next up.
Oh shoot, I forgot to put my things on my post office. What was it? Brick and wheat? Is that what we wanted?
Well,
or stone and wood, depending on your strategy.
Leading you down a primrose path, I think.
Sure.
Okay, and then next up is Dealer's Choice, everyone. Dealer's Choice after the Glass.
I'm to build an orchard. Greenhouse.
Building an orchard.
Greenhouse, not orchard.
Whatever.
Okay.
I'm building the red building.
Yeah, the red building.
The red building.
Wow. Way to just ignore all the theme that...
Yeah, especially coming from the guy that every single time I say a number instead of the name of the character in love letter, give me this weird look like, why are you calling them like that?
All right, let's do this.
Okay, next up, everyone, is wheat. Wheat.
Not a big greenhouse.
Wheat or brick. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Pays for itself already because I'm putting a brick down.
Happy to give pro tips.
So Emma, you're a part of the Seattle playtest group over there. Have you been doing the online playtesting over Tabletop Simulator?
Yeah, so I run the Seattle Tabletop Game Designers here in Seattle, and we've become international over the past month or so. So we're weekly.
It means like you have somebody in Canada?
No, we've had a couple of people. I was playing a game with someone from New Zealand the other day.
Okay.
So that was really cool. And yeah, we've just been able to test. We're actually testing tonight. We play test every Wednesday. And we've had 30 people in there at a time sometimes, just very active. And it's been awesome to see all the people coming out and testing.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Cool.
All right, everybody. Next up is brick, or for Emma, that is brick or wheat.
Or wheat.
Good draw. Good draw.
Oh,
And
gosh.
so Gil Hova is a part of the New York City group, which I understand is also doing sort of international stuff. So I love that the two hosts of Ludology are sort of the two, playtesting capitals of the U.S. and have both gone international. That's cool.
Yeah, the community is really important to us, and I'm sure y'all will be supportive of this, but playtesting is one of the most important parts of game design, and just being able to get those iterations and tests in is super important to making good games.
It would be so nice if that were not the case. The last card on this deck, everybody, is Dealer's Choice, Player's Choice.
Second post office.
Second post office for me too. Don't know what to put on it.
Probably a resource would be a good
So
choice.
Amy's saying, is your background for Walking Dead, Dot?
Nope.
Okay.
Good guess. Good guess.
I'm gonna
Nothing
show
that
the
modern.
background for a little while. So
Yeah, I don't know it, Todd. I did have a look at. I mean, you asked, and I sort of.
Shameful.
Sorry?
It's shameful.
Is it?
Yeah, shameful. You don't know it. I'll say that's two clues right there for the people at home. Number one, where Mark's from. Number 2, Mark's age.
Yeah, don't guess.
He's old enough to know what it is,
there is the
and
guess
he's from
that
the same general region to know where it is.
So Katerina is saying that your background is from Shaun of the Dead.
Nope, it is not.
Good guess, though. Good guess.
Oh, Mark is in the hunt now. He thinks he's got
Amy
it.
saying B, and Jay saying it's from Smash Up.
With Todd, always go to Smash Up as
Doesn't
your
have
second answer.
hallucinogenic snails in it, so it's probably not from Smash Up.
So was
All right,
B
everybody.
the wrong answer, Tot?
No, that's not correct either.
First up is wood on the next go through on the deck. We're going to call some wood.
All right.
Good stuff.
Thomas is saying it's from Roadhouse.
It is not from Roadhouse,
Oh.
but we'll have a roundhouse kick for you anyway.
I'm guessing it's something. I'm guessing something sort of UK based from what you're saying, Todd. But
You could be right.
I mean, or are we talking about me being in Canada as opposed to in Scotland? I don't know.
No. I referenced your age, which would imply a long time ago.
Okay, everybody. Next up is stone. Stone.
Wow. Shot after shot.
In the before time.
Which wouldn't imply it. Wouldn't imply it. It's fairly explicit.
All right, what am I doing here?
I asked myself that.
The let's guess how old Mark is competition.
What are you building?
Yeah, it doesn't have the beautiful Reign of Tiny Towns.
Hey, everybody. Next up after that stone is going to be a dealer's choice. Dealer's choice.
All right, that's going to make me my monument, Grand Mausoleum of the Rodina.
Farm in the house.
I am making my monument as well, Grove University.
You sound so morose.
Emma, what's the publication history for Abandoned All Artichokes? Did you self-publish it? Is there a publisher involved? Did you kickstart it? How did it get out into the world?
So the publisher is Game Right.
Oh, okay.
I was talking with them I met them at PAX Unplugged, at the first PAX Unplugged, and showed them the very early prototype of the game, went back and forth for a while, and signed the contract PAX East last year, and now it's a real thing. It's out in the world. Couldn't have asked for a better publisher for that.
Excellent.
Well, other than us.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That was implied. That was implied, Emma.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't know you all back then, so.
Implied.
Was that Brick?
Yes.
That was brick, everybody.
This round we had
We had a brick.
wood, stone, player's choice, brick.
Thank you very much, Vlad. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Oh, geez. Oh, brick or wheat?
Corey's saying that the background is from Scary Movie.
No.
Whoa, wow, Todd, you have stumped the world here today.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Next up is stone, everyone. Next up is stone.
narrow it down even more. It is not from a movie. It is from TV.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm tempted to give a clue, but I don't have any chance to win.
Do you know what it is? Then,
I
Vlad?
think so. I think it's from a TV series on the UK. That it's also a TV series on the US.
The Office.
I think we're not allowed to answer.
I know. I said that because I was pretty confident it was incorrect.
You may never know.
Sorry, what? Hang on, I'm getting way behind here. I'm too busy thinking about this thing Todd's got up. So it was brick and then what?
It was wood, stone, dealer's choice, brick, stone, dealer's choice.
And Jack is in YouTube and he's saying that the background is from a fish called Wanda.
No, it is not from a movie.
And Julian is saying it's from Shameless.
No.
And
Dealer's
Thomas
choice.
is from Norton Exposure. And that goes my clue. I thought it was from Shameless.
It's not. I mean, the only thing I've ever seen on TV, which is I can't even believe you'd have this, is there's an old. That was an old black and white series, so it can't be that.
No. Let's see. Let me give you a few more clues. Hang on.
Looks a bit like Steptoe and Son.
It's not
Next
Steptoe.
up is glass. Glass is next up.
Okay.
It ran
Brewery.
from 1982 to 1984.
Wow. Okay.
It's been in repeats.
Nice. I was 3 years
I built
old.
I built my Barrett Castle over here.
Nice.
And
Castle. Broken.
Glass
I'm
again.
building my second.
yes, Emma, we got glass after the player's
ooh.
choice.
1982. I'd already left university then, Todd. That's not from when I was young.
Thomas is saying Norton Exposure, and Amy saying Hamish Macbeth.
No,
No for you.
Ah.
we'll just let it run till the end of the
Everybody.
thing.
Okay.
You stumped the world.
I do like obscure shows, so that will make it difficult.
Well, I think you won. This is pretty obscure.
This may be the first question that nobody has been able to answer on our show.
Yeah.
Okay, after brick is going to be dealer's choice, everyone.
Thank goodness. That was a terrible run. Just nothing but
Stop it.
Oh, I shouldn't have put that there.
Um, I went to the dentist on Saturday, and it was a very different experience. They are implementing all these weird protocols that
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to do. I wasn't expecting that.
Well, you know, having people prodding around in your mouth is quite a risky business right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's probably a good job they did.
Yeah.
Wheat, everyone.
Ooh,
Item up
Wheat.
for this.
Wheat.
that's
The
not
two more
great.
guesses: Hamish Macbeth and Doctor Who, Monarch of the Glen.
Wow, they're rattling them off now.
And Hard Time on Planet Earth.
Or Time on Planet Earth.
Hamish Macbeth, good grief. Monica the Glen, that was very, by and large, all the houses, they were very well.
82, you say, Todd?
82 to 84.
Were you born on
No,
area?
I feel like someone should be able to Google every single show that came out in 1982 and find that answer.
Is it a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy thing?
All right, we went wheat, and then we went wheat again, everybody. The dreaded double wheat.
Oh no.
Double wheel.
Oh gosh, or brick.
Oh, that's bad.
Good job.
I think
Dreaded.
another good question will be, what's on John's
Double wheel.
Pizza? Can anyone guess what's on John's Pizza? Not for a prize, just for
That,
playing.
that is going to be easier than guessing Todd's thing, I think.
Yeah.
Apparently so. I'm getting hungry for pizza now.
It is very good. I'm not going to lie. All right, everybody. Next up is dealer's choice. Dealer's choice.
That's got to be a
No,
glass.
building
God,
Second
see
brewery.
a wood, oddly.
Kurt is saying the young ones. And
Someone
thank you.
got it. He got it.
Oh,
He
the
got
young
it. Wow, it's the
one.
first time Kurt is here and he won a prize.
Do you know,
Young
I was-
one.
that when you gave me the dates again, I was like, I do have an idea now.
And
There
Jay
you
is
go.
saying that there are fingers on John's Pizza. And I guess he's right.
That is true.
The
All right,
young
I'm going to
ones.
give
I
you
just
the
remember the
third
punk dude
wheat
with spiky
in a
hair.
row.
Wow, third
Wow.
win.
In a row. That is brutal.
Nonsense.
I do have
Stop
wheat.
him before he wheats again.
I do have wheat on 2 different post offices, so I'm okay with that.
Wow. Wow.
I don't know what to do. I went the no post office strategy today, so
Yeah.
How's that working out?
so far pretty good because I did get the obelisk of the crescent built early,
Mm-hmm.
so I am able to move my buildings around. All right, after wheat, after that third wheat, we're going to give you wood, everyone. Wood is next up.
I actually needed wood.
Me
Wood-
too.
I'm guessing that the only thing that you didn't need was wheat.
So Emma, aside from playtesting, have you been able to do much regular gaming in these times?
A little bit. I've been playing more on Tabletop Simulator, so it's been nice to connect there, and then Zoom, played some different party games, so it's been fun having the option for that.
Yeah, I've got every Saturday my friends and I get together for Zoom games or board game arena, which has been fun.
Dealer's choice is the last part of the second go through of the deck, everyone.
This weekend there's going to be a large esport board game tournament in Latin America.
Oh, cool.
They're expecting around 1,000 players, and I'm going to see how that works.
Wow.
Yeah, I suspect like esports and e-games that are good visually have done very well out of this lockdown.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We just run a tournament this weekend for a local charity, and we got 500 players. But I'm very surprised that we're running board game esports tournaments. That's a first for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I followed a little bit of the news for the guys in NASCAR that did the online NASCAR racing. That looked fascinating.
Yeah, that was really cool, actually.
Yeah,
Didn't
like
the
they
guys
had
get
actual
ejected?
drivers in there.
What did you say, John?
Didn't one of the drivers get like ejected from the league because he threw a temper tantrum and is like his
Yep.
online?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, one of the sports channels actually had esports Formula One on.
Yeah.
You know, here, and I was watching that. I was amazed at how realistic the graphics were. I mean, at one point, I was like, "Is this esports or is this an actual Grand Prix?" Right?
Wood, everyone. Wood is the first call of the third go through on the deck this time.
Every single year that passes is gonna be harder to figure out if you're watching esports or watching an actual game.
That's probably true.
Scary, but true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny how we progress society, because I was having a conversation with my son about this, who's 17, and we were talking about different movies that, you know, we thought he should watch. And it was the sense that certain movies he finds almost unwatchable because the special effects are so bad.
Yeah.
Because that's not what he's grown up with. And I was sort of saying, I remember watching the old black and white King Kong.
That was good.
Again, everyone, wheat again. Not building a post office is really coming back to bite me now.
I'm going to use that wheat to build a cottage.
It doesn't matter if it's digital or not. Ferrari's still going to win.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was really fascinating, sort of thinking about that. And I remember watching Jason and the Argonauts back in the 70s. And
Yes.
Stop animation and thinking how much better it was than the old King Kong. And you know, the old King Kong was like just didn't look realistic anymore. And it's amazing how all these effects have just progressed throughout the years to the point where we are now, where we can barely tell the difference.
And now that you see the new release movies, like in new resolutions on high definition, if you watch A New Hope that was released 2 weeks ago, you can actually see a bunch of problems with how the effects were created, and now they don't seem as believable.
Vlad, there's a question in the chat. There's 4 wheat in one of the rows. I think the last one's supposed to be player's choice.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
People are asking that. Yep.
Yeah, my mistake.
Dealer's choice.
Dealer's choice. Right.
All right, that's gonna be my 4th brewery. And if everyone could just observe what a pro player Tiny Towns board looks like, you're supposed to have 4 breweries, none of which are scoring. That's
Oh,
as
and I
good
would
as it
like to
gets.
say hi to Elizabeth Bancroft, who's joining us.
Oh.
Hey, Liz.
Hey, Liz. Elizabeth.
Cottage.
Well, I've really penned myself in now.
Can confirm.
And even Harry Potter. I'm rewatching Harry Potter, and that's not that far ago. It's 18 years ago, but wow, they do look on the effects, especially the first 2 ones.
18 years ago?
Yeah. Harry Potter was 18 years ago, right? It feels weird.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Life, dude.
But you got to remember, like,
Next up is wood.
at the same time, you know, Jurassic Park came out. The first Mortal Kombat movie came out, and if you just like Google a picture of what Reptile looked like in the first Mortal Kombat movie, which is also like he's also a dinosaur compared to the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, like there is a stark difference for sure.
What did you call John?
All right, next up is glass, everyone. Glass.
This round,
no.
Todd, this round we had wood, wheat, player's choice, wood, glass.
Thank you, Vlad. Excellent.
Oh, God.
Excellent.
This is so bad.
It's pretty bad.
I'm in deep trouble.
Shoot.
I am in deep trouble. I think.
Yeah, I also don't think I'm scoring
a dealer's choice. A dealer's choice.
Another cottage.
Wait, we
Cottage with that
tap
too.
yours? No, we just had a glass. Got it. Okay,
My
good.
first cottage.
Dangerous.
First cottage.
So much trouble.
Shifting the strategy.
Still 0 breweries scoring, and I am afraid.
I have 2 breweries and they're not scoring yet either. Pete, my theatre's looking good, but my breweries aren't looking so great.
And my theater's also not looking good. If the game were to end right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, I would have -11.
Woo! Woo!
Oh, end the game now, folks. End it now. Next up is wheat
Wow.
again. Unbelievable.
Good calling today, John. Good call.
Unbelievable wheat. Not helpful. Ugh, what am I gonna do with that wheat?
In some ways, you know, I told everyone that they should put brick and wheat on their post office, but you know, at the end of the day, there's been so much wheat called that now I'm just piled with wheat and brick.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, next up, I'll just give you some brick.
Wow. You just go for it, Josh.
I didn't want that, no.
I'm actually okay with both of those calls.
This is not. I'm so in a bad place.
My
right
board
here.
is
Very
in very
bad.
bad shape here.
Very, very bad. Yep.
There's no way
Kimchi
to.
too. That is going to be a
recover this.
So
problem.
Catherine is saying, take a look at Lord of the Rings. The first one they actually used cast to play orcs and Uruk-hais, and you watch The Hobbit, and there is barely any actors anymore.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I didn't think the Hobbit. I didn't think the Hobbits. You know that their CGI was all that good. I did not.
Player's choice.
I think it looked. The next one is Player's Choice. Everyone. The next one is
Great.
Player's Choice.
Has anyone else chosen glass for like the last 8 players' choices? Because
Yeah,
I
that's
have.
Yep.
that's kind of the world I've been living in.
I do believe that the next big change we're going to see with The Lord of the Rings is going to be with the new Amazon series that it's coming this year or next year, and that will have a big impact.
I really like good practical effects. Like,
Me too.
you know, I think Mad Max Fury Road is one of the best looking movies in recent years, and there is CGI, but so much of the cars flipping over and explosions is really happening.
Yeah, we're not talking. I don't know. I think I watch too much Transformers movies to appreciate a good car explosion again.
Yeah, I mean, look, you have to realize that Terminator 2 has, I think, 17 like visual effects shots, but like a Tyler Perry movie has 100. Like,
wow.
All right, everybody. The next
There's so
item
much
on the bids is wood. That
Oh my
can't
gosh.
make anybody happy.
I'm saved.
nope, that's it.
It's
Wood.
actually
gosh.
pretty good for me. If you could just call a glass, just a single glass.
Okay.
It's been we haven't
Glass
had
is what I do.
glass.
It's
Yes.
been a
Hold
while
on, I'm
without
looking at the
glass.
resources. Glass was the second resource called. Oh no, we did have one other this run, but there have been
Yes.
2 glass the whole game.
We had 4 glasses during the whole game.
Yeah, I thought about putting glass in one of my post offices.
And we had
I'm
7
regretting not doing
wheats
that.
during this game. That's hard.
Next up
Hey.
is Stone. Stone is next up.
Stone is good. Yeah, I actually have wheat and glass in one of my post offices, which has been really helpful because I've been able to turn the glass into wheat and the wheat into glass. And makes building
Vlad, Kurt needs to know what he needs to do.
I'm answering right now. Thank you, Josh.
I'm out. I am.
Oh, Emma.
Yeah. I'm toast.
I mean, I'm with you. I'm going to be out here pretty soon too.
Yeah, this game has been savage. That wheat, really hard to overcome.
Dealer's choice. Dealer's choice.
So Josh, you used to work on visual effects, right? What will be a good advancement in visual effects in current years? What movie has bring the bar a little bit higher?
What movie, like recently? I don't know. I'll think about that.
Okay. And while you think about that, Todd, I know we have some opportunities on the online store. Can you tell us about that?
We do indeed. Let me make sure I'm not missing any here. So, in fact, this is the last day for half off Greedy Goblins by Richard Garfield. It's a fast and frantic game where you're trying to mine for gems faster than the other players, but you're using a lot of dynamite between all of you, and it might bring it down on everyone's head. So, better push your luck in that one, and that's 50% off right now. We're also doing 25% off Ecos First Continent. And that also gets free shipping in the US. So be sure and check that out. Ecos First Continent is a great game by John B. Clare. And then we also just began our deal to buy all 4 Guildhall fantasy releases for just $60. And that's a nearly $130 value for just $60 right now.
I think it's important to say that this is the last chance that you will be able to get Guildhall. That is a Hope Hwang design. He is from Korea, and we have agreed to send that game back to Hope after this month. So you're going to run some good deals on it this month, and then it will be no more as an AEG product, sadly. And we love that game. I mean, that game was sneaky good when we initially did it. We put this. We decided we wanted to make it look like a European game, and our decision to make a game look European was to put a guy holding 2 pigs on the cover. That's what we thought a European game looked like.
Wow.
It's just European people staring dead-eyed. That's a Euro game, right?
That's a Euro game.
Looking off into the
Next
distance.
up is
Stone.
and that would be my last one. I'm out.
Oh, that's a good call, John.
So,
Actually, I only had one bad call there.
Emma, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What was your most recently back Kickstarter? What are you waiting to get?
Oh God, the one that I just backed like within the last couple of days.
Wow. Well, it could be longer than that, but if it's just days, that works too.
It's going to be like a credit. She's going to list off all the games at the end of it.
Yeah. No, I try to stay pretty close to the belt, not back a bunch of Kickstarters, but for Table Takes last week we interviewed Ryan from Sea of Legends, and after hearing him describe the game, I was like, okay, like it was a little different than what I expected.
Yeah, it's a good looking game for sure. Yeah. Next up is Dealer's Choice, everyone. Dealer's Choice.
Another. Just gonna make a cottage.
All right, I'm placing it at there. Okay, 1 and 2 resources. That's what you need to call me. See.
Oh, Leslie, I'm so sorry. Leslie's saying that she's out with her very first game of Tiny Towns, and she's out with -3.
Leslie, I love you. You get a free game for having the first person to post a score worse than my -1.
There.
Ready to go. All right, everybody, we're on the 4th go through of the deck. We have to be getting close to the end for some people here.
Oh yeah, it's getting close.
All right.
I could be on this resource.
One final cut. What's the one that you? What do you want, Josh?
I need brick or wheat.
You need brick or wheat, and I'm gonna.
I can handle anything.
Wheat.
Give me whatever.
Wait.
I didn't want to say I could handle brick, wheat, or glass.
First go, wait.
My spec board actually, look, I got a little save earlier on, but it's not looking bad.
Alex is out with 21, and Julian is out with
Now,
29.
I need stone and wood, please.
Stone.
Oh, that's bad news.
And you will get both.
Stone.
And now Dealer's Choice, right?
Now Dealer's Choice.
Oh,
All
sweet.
right, that's it
Go.
for me.
Come on, John.
Wow.
You can do this.
Pete, you are out. So you were playing the 5th round last day.
Well, I mean, we had what was it, Architects Guild and Warehouse the other day, but I'm content with being done here. I did all right.
That just let me score my 3rd brewery.
Wood.
I got 4 breweries.
Good
Got
call.
all 4.
John. Another
I'm out with the wood.
simple.
Wood. Who is still in this game?
I'm still in it.
Ty
Todd
is
still...
out with -9, and Thomas is out with 22.
Whoa, with -9?
Yeah, I don't think that
Well,
it's a good day for
listen,
you.
-9 their first play at Tiny Towns. Is this today the first day?
No, that's not his first day. He's just having a bad day.
You are having a.
We said I had -9 my first play of time.
Oh, that was a -3, and it was
Good
tied.
call again, John. Keep this up.
You still going, Todd?
I'm still going.
I'm out with only one.
I got really lucky. I built my second post office with wheat and glass on it, so I did not suffer as bad as everybody else.
Yeah, that was a good call.
All right, everybody. Next up is Dealer's Choice. Next up is
Ooh.
Dealer's Choice.
We are rocking here.
Next up is Dealer's Choice. And then after Dealer's Choice, we've got Wheat.
Wheat is not the best. Okay.
Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We had
That'll be
called
it.
Wheat 9 times in this game. That's 2 above average.
I am the best.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Next up is Stone. Stone is next up.
And we're also going to put a Kickstarter soon.
All right, I'm done. I'm
A
out.
game called Death Reckoning, if you haven't heard about it. Ryan, can you tell us a little bit about Death Reckoning? Oh, I think he didn't hear me. John, can you tell us a little bit about Death Reckoning?
Dead Reckoning is our pirate game. It is a game about building a crew and buffing up your ship and going out and exploring this sort of open sea world. You want to control islands, you can trade, you can be a pirate, you can be a privateer. It has some story-driven elements, but it is sort of a 4X with some story-driven elements. It is an awesome game, and it's a card crafter from John D. Clare, who has really honed his design skill as a card crafting designer. Do we have anybody else in the group left playing here?
I'm not. Hey, Pete. What can you remind me what 4 breweries get me?
18. Oh wait, for you, Josh. For you, Josh, you get 5.
We're going to take a second and add up our scores. The obelisk of the crescent doesn't get me anything. That's not good. So I've got.
Anyone still playing, or I'm just gonna fill the rest of the resources? Okay, and I'm gonna give random resources. Well, not that random because I'm not gonna give you any more wheat on the screen.
How kind.
And I hope this helps. Here you go, chat. Enjoy the resources.
Okay, it is time for scores. I will go first. I got 27. I sort of backed myself into a corner, and all that wheat and wood really shut me down. So I ended up with 27 points. Vlad, did you play today?
No, John, I had not been able to play.
Vlad was unable to play. Have you gone colorblind or?
I cannot go more colorblind, John. I'm already colorblind.
Josh Wood, how did you do?
I got 37.
37.
37.
Wow.
That is awesome. All right, Ryan Dancy, who was flabbergasted by that 37. What'd you get?
I got 23.
23 for Ryan Dancy. Mark Wooten.
38.
38.
Wow.
Todd Rowland, who was in the game for the longest.
Yeah, but he didn't score the most, just 26.
26. Peter McPherson.
36.
36, 37, and 38. And now our guest of honor, Emma, how did you do today?
I don't know if I want to say. Let's take a guess over here. Are you all seeing my board here? Are you seeing my board here?
Let's get a close up to Emma's board. There you go.
Well,
okay.
This was a fun day, Emma. You're a great guest. We hope that you will join us again. We're going to be playing all summer.
Yeah.
I didn't go negative. I got a 6. Okay, so I managed to squeak in.
And I hope that next time you play Space Base with us, we are playing on Fridays. If you want.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Space Base is great.
That would be great. Emma, do you have anything else that you'd like to pitch before we leave?
I did actually. I heard you talk about Ecos earlier, and I actually wanted to give a shout out to that game because that's been the one I've played recently that has, I guess I'll say, made me the maddest, but in a good way.
Right.
Just seeing the combos and stuff, my friends like going off turn after turn with just these amazing things. I would definitely give a shout out and recommend that one because it's definitely one that's gotten under my skin and into my brain.
That's
All
awesome.
Right. Thank you.
Emma, how we can find you on social media? Can you share with us how we can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Emma Larkins at Emma Larkins pretty much everywhere. I've got my website. I'm on Twitter. On Facebook too. If you look up the Seattle Tabletop Game Designers, if you are interested in designing or playtesting, we're open to the world now, so you can join the group. Just say that you're remote testing, and I'll put the link to the Discord in there. Always looking for new people. Always talking about design on different platforms. So if you're on Twitter, then just hit me up. Love to answer questions.
You also have a show on Twitch that you do about game design, right? I had been there a couple of times.
Yeah. Also on Twitch at Emma Larkins, where I do live board game design streaming.
All right.
Awesome.
Are you guys that work for Alderac Entertainment Group hearing this? I mean, that is an awful lot of things that Emma seems to be doing on top of getting a bunch of games designed. So I think
Wow.
She's
we need
setting the
to.
bar high.
There.
And I'm sorry, did you mention Ludology, Emma? It's one of my favorite
yeah.
podcasts. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, Ludology. I'm a host on there. We talk about we go inside board game design and try to come at it from different directions and really dig into the science and the philosophy of what design means. We always have on amazing guests who every show are just like, I can't believe just the amazing things that all these people are doing. And I actually should give a shout out because the upcoming episode is going to be me talking about abandoned all artichokes for pretty much the first time publicly. So it's going to be fun.
Oh,
very exciting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, stay home, stay safe. Do not listen to, use your own good judgment when you're getting out there and starting to get back in the world. We will see you tomorrow. Who's our guest tomorrow, Vlad?
Tomorrow we will have, give me 1 second, Jones, because you got me on surprise.
Dumper.
Curveball. Give him a curveball.
Curveball. Okay, tomorrow we will have Kim Breeze.
Nice. Okay. All right, everybody. Have a great day.
And thank you, everyone on the chat.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining again.
Stay safe, everyone.
See ya.